Welcome to Music Matters Podcast with Daryl Craig Harris, talking about all things music with celebrities, artists, music business insiders, and more.
Ellia and Jeff, how are you doing today?
Good.
Doing well.
Nice to see you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, great to be here.
Awesome. So you have a band, or duo, I should say, Charming Disaster, which is really cool. And it's really fun music, very story driven, kind of like dark gothic. I don't know. You guys will have to describe how you feel about it. But I was checking out your music. It's really fun. Like I said, a lot of kind of story stuff. It reminds me kind of Vincent Price meets, I don't know, Tim Burton, I guess.
Like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks.
So tell me about you guys. So you have your 7th album coming out. I think you had a release party last night. Is that right?
We did. We're like still in the afterglow of the album release party.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So tell me about the band and how you guys got together and all that stuff.
13 years ago.
13
Wow.
years ago.
Once upon a time, 13 years ago, Jeff and I each had a large band of our own. And we met in a bar one night by chance. I caught Jeff's band, Kotorino, and I thought, this is somebody whose songs are good, who I would be interested in working with. I don't know. I just had like an instinct.
Yeah, my band was playing this bar, and we had just had a show, and this person comes up to me and was like, "Oh yeah, I like your music. I also have a large band."
And by large band, it was like strings and horns, like kind of parlor rock, like both of us. Like it was a similar lineup.
Yeah,
that's like herding kittens a little bit.
Oh my god!
my God.
It's like
exactly
herding
right.
kittens. And it's a lot of mouth to feed, and like everybody's really talented, so everybody has like their own project, and it's like I would cry just trying to like schedule rehearsals for that band, because like the bass player and the drummer were never available at the same time, and like we would find out how it all sounded together like at the gig.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I was, we were kind of talking about having large bands, and I thought, it'd be really great to like share a bill. But as mentioned, it's like herding two bands of kittens, which makes it doubly hard for scheduling.
And then I was
and Ellia was like, well, we could do that. We could share a bill, but what we should really do is write songs together.
I don't know why I said that. I just I never suggested that to anybody before.
And I've never written a song with anybody before, and I'm like, sure, okay, cool.
Well, and then I was like, listen, with 2 people, we could rehearse as much as we wanted.
Exactly.
And that was
like, oh my God, you're right.
I was
A
telling
little
you,
light bulb went off.
yeah. So I'm a bass player, and I know that story. And people are like, can you put a band together for me? I'm like,
Yeah.
For that exact reason. Because the thing is, you want great players, and great players are going to be busy, especially in New York. Right?
Yeah, especially in New York. So Nedja came and saw my band and was like, oh yeah, like she's totally right. We have like a sort of, simpatico. We're kind of like in the same
makes sense.
world. And so we had our first band meeting, and we came up with a list of topics for like a duo project. We're like, oh, this will just be our fun side project. Like this is we're not gonna like be serious about this. It'll just be like for fun.
We're not gonna write about our emotions or feelings or anything like that. And we don't know each other, so it was good to have, subjects to work from. So we came up with a list of ideas. Yeah.
And we were both like the lead singers of our other bands, and but it's really fun to do harmonies, and we're like, oh, like with 2 like it'll be all duets. We can do all the fun stuff that you do with like 2 vocals, but we'll use that as a storytelling, like
2 sides of the story, 2 perspectives.
Yeah, and I like how you guys actually approach that, because I noticed that on the singles that I was listening to, like you share verses, and the harmony stuff is really fun. The whole vibe is fun. Like it's very charming. It's like dark charming, I guess.
Dark charming. Yeah. Well, that's Charming Disaster. Like it's like it's light and dark. It's dark subject matter, but like it's presented in a really playful way, and like we get to kind of plumb the depths while also kind of bringing a little light to the subjects that we explore.
Who are some of your influences as I'm obviously individually, but then as the duo?
Led Zeppelin, PJ Harvey.
Yeah.
I mean that's just like what like we're always listening to in the car.
Yeah, definitely for both of us. Those are big influences.
A lot of PJ Harvey.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned Tim Burton as an inspiration. Are you guys big Tim Burton fans? I am too. For me,
aesthetically,
yeah. I mean, like Edward Gorey even more, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is in a similar like visual milieu, but like Edward Gorey has such a sense of humor, and that's like a big part of it too. But yes, I would say like Beetlejuice Tim Burton more than like Sleepy Hollow Tim Burton.
Right. Yeah. And I just like that vibe. It's kind of like I would say like almost Victorian British vibe.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With a little carnival thrown in as well.
Exactly. So collaboration. So obviously you guys are writing together, and I know you mentioned in your bio Don Goodwin has kind of been a Godwin has been a collaborator. So tell me about when you guys are recording. How does that process work? Do you walk in with completed songs or?
Yes,
but so we walk in with songs that are completed in a sort of like the structure of the song, all the lyrics are there, the chord progression, like the song at its like basic structure sense. But a lot of the arrangement stuff happens when we're in the studio.
Yeah, that's a collaborative effort with Don, is getting to like go over instrumentation and sound, kind of sounds and production ideas. There's a lot of back and forth with Don with that. And Don plays both drums and bass and horns. It is great.
We put him to work.
Yeah. It is great to work with him.
Yeah, that's great.
And we've been working with him for a long time. Don recorded 2 of the albums that I made with Sweet Soubrette before Crime Disaster started, and also recorded the last Kotorino album of Jeff's band. So between the 3 bands, we've recorded like 10 albums with Don.
Wow.
It's like, so it's
Awesome.
like, so we have like a really long relationship with him and a lot of shared language and references, and like, just as you do with like a band member that you've been working with for a long time, where like you have like kind of shorthand ways of describing what you're trying to accomplish or hear.
And it's a process of building trust too, right? That's super important.
Yes, but none of the ego of another band member. Don is very
well, that's good.
Don is very like open with stuff. So like, when Don is working on a bass, or we're all working on a bass part, there's like Don, has his ideas, and we're like sitting on his shoulder, like, well, that note's fine, but maybe not this one.
I don't like when I know I don't like it when you're on the third, like on the one, like
he doesn't like the third and the bass on the one.
There's a little bit of a negotiation process when especially when you're recording.
Our running joke is that it takes 3 people to write a bass line.
Yeah,
sometimes it takes a village.
It takes a village, and Don is very egoless when it comes to that. He's like, okay,
but he has opinions, and so
he has ideas. Definitely.
Yeah. And so like it's nice to have 3 people in the studio when like there's a question of like what there's a choice to make. Like often 2 people feel more strongly than the third, and it's not always the same 2 people, and so that really helps. Like like if Jeff and I don't agree about something, like Don is the tiebreaker.
I was just gonna say sometimes it's good to have a third. Otherwise you have sort of the Mexican standoff where it doesn't.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So it's been really a lovely thing getting to work with Don. And when he used to be in Brooklyn, and when he moved to DC to work at a studio called Tonal Park in Tacoma Park, we started recording down there.
Awesome. And when you guys so you're performing live, but you have like a house gig in Brooklyn, or where are you playing in New York?
We don't have a house gig. It's hard to have a house gig in Brooklyn if you're playing
or in New York,
originals. But there's a venue we really like called Caveat on the Lower East Side, which is where we did our album release last night, which is like a 100-seat sort of cabaret theater. They do a lot of like storytelling and comedy, sort of like nerdy nightlife stuff, and they're so nice to work with. We love them, and they offer some nice tech and vibe opportunities.
It's a great place.
It's challenging these days for indie bands, because a lot of the venues, especially after COVID, they kind of closed down, right? So and I've been dealing with that too for what we do. We do a lot of casino, but we were doing clubs on the East Coast. A lot of those places sadly never came back. So when you guys are actually working on doing like touring and that kind of stuff, what do you focus on? What kind of venues?
Oh my gosh.
Any kind of venues that'll fit.
Anything,
So,
yeah. That's
It's
cool.
it's really varied. I mean, like for us, it's about finding the right size of venue also, because like,
Mm.
something in the like 50 to 100 range is like pretty comfy for us. You know, we're not we're not playing huge halls, but we also want to be able to grow our audience. So there's like a wonderful 50 seat house in Cleveland that we love to play, but we've been like selling that one out. And so
Ah,
this time,
that's yeah.
this time in Cleveland, we're gonna do the one that's like slightly bigger.
Yeah, that was actually something that Elton John was talking about. He goes, some bands they go into these big venues too soon, and it's
Mhm.
better to be selling out small venues. And then
Very
also too,
much so.
the music you guys do, it feels very intimate storytelling. So
mhm.
those, it seems like I could see how those smaller venues would actually work really well.
Yeah, but we're up for the challenge of making an intimate concert in a larger venue,
And
which
we've
Yeah,
is,
done it. Yeah. I
and we've
mean,
done it. Yeah.
yeah, if anybody's listening and you have like a 300 seat house and you
Yeah.
think that's too big for us, it's not too big for us.
yeah.
Yeah.
We can
And
do
when you
it.
when you
Yeah.
when you do yeah, I hear you. When you do live shows, are you guys doing it as a duo or do you have a full band? How do you approach that?
A duo.
A duo.
Yeah, it's an interesting process. So like when we write, we sit down with uke and guitar and we kind of hash it out and we come up with the structure and the harmonies and the lyrics and everything. And then we go into the studio and that is kind of where that gets to expand if the song
Mm.
kind of requires it, if
Yeah,
it's like
and not
what we
just with
feel.
Don, like that's also where we recruit our former band members to like come into the studio with us or like record some tracks on their own that we fold in. Like we like in the
Yeah,
studio is where the band is like as big as we want to imagine it being.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
but on the road, it's the two of us.
right.
And as Jeff was saying,
Yeah, so then like we have this like, platonic ideal of the song and it's been captured and recorded. And then we kind of have to interpret it again to like the smaller way that we can perform it and like
Right.
how are we going to like cover this song with
yeah, it's
like
like
these instruments and what we
yeah,
have is
it's like stripped down covers of the studio tracks.
Yeah.
yeah. And
But
when
I
we
think
play live, we have foot percussion. Like I play a bass drum which is from an old made out of a suitcase. Elliot plays a hi-hat and
okay,
we
cool.
play guitar and you can sing, so
Right.
we're
Yeah. And
doing the most we can do.
yeah, and I think the thing is, the ultimate thing is a good song is a good song. It doesn't matter if there's 50 people on stage or two, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
and you can also you can do a lot with two people. Like you can achieve a
Yeah.
pretty full sound with two people. You just have to use like three of your four limbs.
You just have to use all your attributes. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I know if
funny.
I had a prehensile tail, I could like
I
also
know,
do
right?
that
I
would
can
be
just
so
get
Yeah.
great.
that
Tambourine.
fifth, the
I
fifth
know,
arm on my
I want to
back.
be able to play a snare drum too. That would be the best.
I know. We're working on that.
So when you guys are writing songs, if like again to me it felt very story driven. Like, is that kind of a focus? What's your process for that?
Yeah, I think kind of stories that interest us, subjects that interest us. We get kind of excited about lots of things, whether they're, you know, occult, whether they're based out of books or things that we've been reading or listening to, science related subjects. So it's a
We get
wide
our little
variety.
yeah, we get our little obsessions and then we start songs individually and then we like bring them to the studio and then we
Mhm.
like build them out together. At this point, when we started out, it was more like a relay style, like somebody would write a verse and then pass it off and they would write
Back and forth.
the next bit and pass it back and forth. But now that we've been working together for so long, it's much more likely that we'll sit there like looking at the screen of the laptop with like our instruments, be like, okay, like what if the B minor was a G there
Yeah,
instead?
right.
Like what would that sound like? Let's try that. Okay, yeah, no, that's cool. Can we switch the harmonies on that line? Like, can you sing that high? Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do. So it's like it gets like we get very into the like
Yeah. So it's
building up
very, yeah, it's
together.
very collaborative. Yeah, because it's tough. Like you mentioned, you guys were individual songwriters, and then putting that together, that's a different space, right? You have to, it's a cool
Yeah.
space, but you have to kind of negotiate how that's going to work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because like there's the negotiating part of it, but there's also like learning how to articulate things that you don't have to articulate if you're just working with yourself. But if you're working with another
Mhm.
person, like you need like language to sort of describe like what you're trying to do. And that I think that's actually made me a better songwriter in general, just having to like communicate, like step back and
Mhm.
sort of look at the process a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also quality control too. It's like I could be making something, I'm like, oh, this could be crap, and I don't
you don't
know.
have to worry about it. Like
I'm like, yeah, well, Elio chime
right,
in.
and vice versa. And it is like a really good practice in like not getting too attached to your own ideas. You have to like be willing to give stuff.
Let go.
And that's a trust thing too. You know, like we've now been working together for almost 13 years. And so, you know, so if Jeff thinks something isn't working or would be better another way, like I take him seriously, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And that takes a certain like musical maturity, right? Because when you're young, you really dig in. You're like, no, this is my part. This is my baby.
This is it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because like we have occasionally worked with like another engineer or collaborator who has opinions about like the song writing. Like we did a track with an engineer who was really great, but she was like, oh, like what if like you like switched these two parts and like the chorus came over here, and we were like who are you? Yeah.
You're messing with my baby.
You know, it's funny when we both are like intransigent again about something that we both want there. Like say we have an idea that we both feel very strongly about, we'll just like add them together. You know,
like if we have like different ideas that need to happen at the same time. There are a few songs. Yeah, we both don't give up on our parts. We're like, all right, we'll just put them together, and that's worked well. We like to after the story of King Solomon, we like to call this technique just cut the baby in half.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you want the top half or the bottom half?
Just cut the baby in half.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome that's actually that you guys lasted 13 years. You think the Beatles lasted 8.
Wow. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all that, and they had all that material coming out of such a short period of time. But it's great to be able to have a duo and be able to find, kind of a compadre, have a partner in life for musical collaboration. What's some of the stuff that you guys have learned along the way that you could maybe mention to new artists, people that want to break into what you're doing, sort of the indie art scene, I would say almost, or I don't know how you want to say it.
Well, I think kind of to the point we were just talking about, it's like if you find a musical collaborator, stick with that person. Like that is a very special thing. And if you collaborate with someone and it's working well, just do whatever it takes to kind of like to take advantage of that, or not so utilitarian as that, but like just realize it's very important and very rare if you have a good collaborator. I think that's something that comes to mind.
And I guess sort of not that different from that, but like a little broader is that finding people that you like to work with, like good people is really important. There's a lot of like shitty people in this industry. And finding people that are good to work with, like it matters so much, whether that's like, bookers or venue owners or other musicians or like PR people. Like, so our PR person is Howard, who you have been in touch with. We love
he's
Howard.
Awesome. He's awesome.
We love Howard. I mean, and like PR is a business where like, there's like a lot of people whose job it is to blow smoke. And, we've worked with other people from time to time, but like, you find somebody who is like the real deal and they're like, they're solid and they're good people. Like that's how you build a life doing this, I think.
Yeah. It's kind of building your tribe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, that's something I found too, just as a musician, and I've been doing it for a long time because I'm old. But yeah, building a tribe is super important. Like you said, it's challenging to find people to trust. So when you find those people, they're like gold in the music business.
Yeah,
so true.
and then like over time, like you have relationships with people, and like I do most of our booking, and like it's so nice to have developed relationships with talent buyers and bookers at venues all over, so that instead of writing a whole like, here's our life story and like our stats and all of this and that, and be like, hey Jackie, like you got room for us on this date, like it makes your life so much easier when you are able to like know the people that you're working with, and like they trust you and you trust them.
Right, building relationships. That's something like not only in music, it's just in life. It's so important.
In life. So true. So true. And just also other artists that we get to work with, not necessarily musical artists, but graphic artists and visual artists that we can incorporate in what we do. It's just been so gratifying to be able to do
I know
that.
I saw you mentioned in your bio the cirque artists or circus artists, and I was actually with Cirque du Soleil for many years. So
oh, really?
Oh, really?
That kind of popped. I was at the show in Vegas and the one in Tokyo.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet we know some folks in common from
We
there.
probably do.
Oh, that's so great.
But
Do you know, well, I'm going to ask one person. Do you know Peter Buffano, the circus composer? He's based in Boston. I don't know if he's done stuff with Circle, though. He's done a lot of Big Apple stuff over the years.
Yeah, I don't know. They had the guys I worked with were sort of the original Cirque composers, like Rene Dupree. They're French Canadian guys. But since then they've really branched out. There's a lot of interesting music in that, and then also just around the world. There's always interesting stuff to find. That was fun when Howard contacted me about you guys, and I was like, oh, cool, let me check it out. And I like the visual. The visuals were really cool, and I was checking out the music. So I love what you guys do. It's very interesting.
Oh, thank you.
It's theatrical, and it's gothic, it's dark, it's fun. There's a sense of humor, which I really like.
Yeah, it's weirdly rare to find a sense of humor.
In
the goth world.
Goth world.
And I think that's right. And the thing I always say too is take the music seriously, but don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The last thing I would offer as like a sort of advice for the young people. We have a social media assistant who we've been working with for a couple years, and like she's coined this term, which is practical kindness, which I love, which is like, it's not just like transactional to be like not a jerk to people. Like it enhances your quality of life to do that and theirs, but also it is effective. Like it's an effective strategy for like making the things you want to happen is like not being a jerk and like paying people and being fair and being transparent and like shining a light on what your colleagues are doing, like just like believing that like the rising tide lifts all the boats. Like you can choose to operate that way, and it works. It also works. You don't have to just be cutthroat.
Exactly, and it is a choice. And I've said that too. And I always go back to, you want people to smile when they see your number pop up on their phone. You don't want them to go, oh,
right.
Oh,
exactly.
God, those people.
So true.
Yeah, exactly. How can people find you online and your website and all that stuff?
How can they not find us?
It's so easy. We're so easy to find. We're in all the places. We have a website, which is charmingdisaster.com. We actually have really good SEO. So if you just like do a Google search on Charming Disaster, you could probably like find all our stuff. But we're on Spotify, we're on Instagram, we have a Patreon, we're on Bandcamp, we're on all the streaming platforms. I don't know if there's
MySpace.
MySpace, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that still a thing? I don't know.
Friendster,
exactly.
Yeah, we're not super active on TikTok, but we have a footprint there. Like wherever you are, we're there. We're like, are you at home in like the privacy of your own home? We're hiding in your closet.
Yeah,
like,
we're in your brain.
Yeah,
we're in your brain.
That's some serious good marketing. Awesome. Hey guys, everybody, please check out the new album, The Double from Charming Disaster, and that's actually released like today, right?
Today. This very day.
Yeah. So this is May 16th, but I'm going to get this episode out as soon as possible so we can coordinate with the release.
Great. Well, whenever it's out, we'll share it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. It's really a pleasure to talk with you.
Nice chatting
thanks,
with
Daryl.
you. Hey, Daryl, where are you based?
I was just going to say, I'm actually in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, when we eventually make it out that way, we will let you know.
Yeah. Well, there's some venues here too. Like we can maybe hook you up with. So we'll stay in touch. Have Howard contact me on that.
Right.
But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Have a great day and enjoy the Brooklyn summer coming in.
Will do.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Bye. Guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us, and please consider subscribing to our podcast and follow us on our social media pages for guest announcements.